With this WrestleTalk news, 2 WWE stars leave their contracts, Jon Moxley unhappy with AEW, a wrestler arrested, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
After 15 years with WWE, 2 of the promotion's most recognizable mainstream names have left. The Garcia twins. You know, the Garcia twins with their classic Garcia twin magic and their entrance music. You can look, but you can't touch a Garcia twin. The Garcia twins, of course, used to be known as the Bella twins, Brie and Nikki Bella, because when they announced they were leaving WWE on Tuesday the 14th of March, they also revealed they'd be known henceforth by their real surname, Garcia, a family name that not only honors their heritage, it's also one that isn't owned by WWE. The story began when fans noticed Nikki and Brie had started updating their social media handles and info to their new/old Garcia names, with no reference to the WWE Bellas. They then more formally introduced themselves on Twitter. Hi, I'm Nikki Garcia. Hi, I'm Brie Garcia. And we're the Garcia twins. 2 dancing ladies emoji. Welcome to our next chapter. Butterfly emoji, stars emoji, white heart emoji, another stars emoji, unicorn emoji, face with red starry eyes emoji, party hat emoji, red wine glass, cheersing champagne flutes, champagne bottle cork, along with a video trailer of them walking through a new door, metaphor, and the empowering voiceover. This next chapter of our lives is about taking it to the next level. Next week in Winnipeg, the Garcia twins are going to level up because we're all so excited here about the release of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Next week in Winnipeg. The video ended with a title card announcing their Bella's Show podcast is also getting rebadged, you fools, to the Nikki and Brie Show. In their marketing savviness, this was synchronized with a clip of the show on Syres FM's YouTube channel explaining more about their new direction and their split from WWE. Brie and I, almost 40, we're going to be 40 in November, we're mothers, we're entrepreneurs, we're executive producers, we're starring, now we're hosting shows, winemakers. And when our contracts came up with WWE mutually, we all knew, we just needed to head into this new chapter. Oh, okay, so it's a case of 2 entrepreneurs outgrowing the wrestling characters they started out with all those years ago, and both sides amicably parting ways. Oh, just one more thing. Despite the Bella Garcia twins being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2021, confusingly as part of the pandemic-delayed 2020 class, and then featuring in the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match, a relationship with WWE turned publicly sour in January this year. They claimed WWE booked them for a media tour for Monday Night Raw's 30th anniversary on January 27th to tie in with the promotion for their Nikki Bella Says I Do reality show. But they ended up being told they had nothing for us on the night. This led the twins to cut an Instagram Live shoot promo on the lack of recognition for women's wrestling on the 30th anniversary show. The same episode where an advertised Becky Lynch versus Bayley cage match had to be pulled because of time constraints. But the Garcia Bellas aren't the only wrestlers potentially unhappy with the promotion that contracted them. Thanks for your support on Patreon. He can last Sean Fur longer than you in the ring, and Starbucks Stephen Costa. You too can get your own shout out by going to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. AEW has set the stage their first ever house show, which is an untelevised live event this Saturday, the 18th of March. It's a new area of business for the promotion, contracting Jeff Jarrett not just as an on-screen talent, but as a backstage director of business development to expand the company into live events, given his experience at TNA. They're titling the new arm of their business House Rules, which is also the name of one of our series over on No Rolls Barred. I await my gold in the post, Jeff. The main event is set to be the Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus the Firm's Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. Stop trying to make the Firm happen. Problem is, the March 18th date conflicted with one of Moxley's long booked-in independent shows, and according to Brian Alvarez, there was obviously the problem where Jon Moxley was double booked. They made him do the house show, which he was not happy about. The conflicting booking was for the Irish promotion OTT and their biggest show of the year, Scrapomania 7, where he was scheduled to face Big Damo. Sometimes you might let AEW off if it was only an appearance booked in over the last 6 months, but Moxley at Scrapomania has been in the works for literally years. Before the pandemic, with him originally supposed to appear at 2020's Scrapomania 6. AEW did draw some criticism about how the situation went down. They originally announced Moxley for their first ever house show on March 18th back on the 1st of February, but didn't address the double booking until several weeks later. This left OTT in a very difficult position, seemingly caught unaware that their main draw was being pulled from their biggest show of the year. They noted that AEW would be sending 2 wrestlers as replacements, which were later announced to be Eddie Kingston and Pac. Alvarez's report hints that it's not just Mox who wasn't 100% on board with AEW's new House Rules project, saying they very much wanted all of the big stars there, or at least the biggest stars they could get that would do it. He went on to say that in WWE, the structure of each wrestler's deal means you make additional money if you do a house show. It means there's a financial incentive for them to work more dates. Alvarez notes, though, that while he doesn't know for sure, perhaps that's not the case for AEW, and that they're just paid their contractual money regardless of how many they actually do, similar to the old lucrative contracts in WCW. To counter, though, that could be the exact detail that will make AEW's live events a success. If wrestlers' additional dates are already covered in their contracts, that negates one of the biggest expenses of running additional live shows. Onto a serious story now. The Tennessee newspaper site Clarksville Today has reported professional wrestler Anthony Mayweather has been arrested after violating a protective order. TNA fans of a certain vintage will know Mayweather as Crimson, a former TNA World Tag Team Champion who had a long-running 470-day undefeated streak in the promotion. His last notable run came in NWA in 2022, where he won the NWA National Heavyweight Championship, not to be confused with the more famous NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Mayweather had been previously jailed in 2016 for headbutting his wife. When police conducted a welfare check on the 24th of February 2023, it was found that Mayweather had made several calls to his juvenile son's phone and sent several text messages to his wife. A warrant was subsequently issued for his arrest and he was booked this week. It's the road to WrestleMania, baby, yeah! Which means there's a big build-up on the M1 of loads of news stories. Here's a rundown of everything else going on. Fightful Select is reporting the Hall of Fame ceremony is set to be way smaller than in previous years, where it'll be taking place immediately following SmackDown rather than existing in its own distinct venue. The class of inductees looks set to be reduced too, as unlike previous years, we currently only have one announced entrant as Rey Mysterio. Ric Flair is expected to announce he'll be inducting the Great Muta, and PW Insider is reporting Stacy Keibler is also 100% confirmed. Beat still, 14-year-old Ollie's heart. WrestleVotes has told Give Me Sport that WWE are planning John Cena versus Logan Paul for a future event, possibly this year's SummerSlam. There's only one thing that could possibly stand in its way: Cena's own mouth. In an interview with AP News, Cena was asked about his relationship with Vince McMahon, to which Cena gave one of the worst answers you can possibly give. I mean, everyone has the right to have their perspective. I have the right to have mine. When you love somebody, you take them as imperfectly perfect as they are. We all make mistakes. We all have poor decisions. The mistakes and poor decisions Cena is referencing there are multiple allegations of sexual misconduct against Vince. PW Insider writes that Drew McIntyre has a lot of respect backstage in WWE as he constantly works no matter what condition he's in physically. On the 10th of March episode of SmackDown, McIntyre was reportedly extremely ill and was only cleared to return to the ring after he arrived backstage. Yet he still competed brilliantly in that night's five-way. He's described as very much a locker room leader behind the scenes. But let me talk to you. Someone else who is impressing is LA Knight. Yeah! Dave Meltzer discussed on Wrestling Observer Radio how loud Knight's reactions were at WWE's house show in Madison Square Garden on Sunday the 12th of March, a venue WWE has historically used to gauge who could be their next big stars. WrestlingNews.co have added that people in positions of power backstage are very happy with Knight's work and the reactions he's been getting at live events, with the belief that Triple H wants to do something more with him following WrestleMania. He was also praised for being open to the wackiness of the Bray Wyatt feud, and Fightful report he was even one of the names presented to Stone Cold Steve Austin as a potential Mania opponent. Yeah! But let me talk to you again. Shazam is out in cinemas this week in Winnipeg. Here's Luke Owen to tell you all about the movie.
Coming up on today's show, we will be talking through the month's big releases, including Creed 3, Scream 6, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, John Wick Chapter 4, and more.
It's Oscar season. We'll be telling you how you get a chance to see some of this year's best pictures for £5.
And we'll be chatting with the stars of Creed 3.